Welcome back. This episode, we're going to talk about worshiping while raising a teenage daughter. Man. The biggest question is, how do I teach my teenager to worship without pushing religion onto her? I was raised in a very strict religion-based household, and so I was always afraid of everything I did. I would get struck by lightning and go straight to hell, or my name was always erased off the Lamb's Book of Life. And so I do not want my daughter and my kids to have that same feeling, to have that same fear. I want them to have a fear of God, but not a fear of going to hell every time they mess up, because, we all mess up, but knowing that there's a grace and a mercy that comes with it, that they don't have to live in that bubble of going to hell every 5 seconds and asking the Lord to rewrite their name in the Lamb's Book of Life. And so the biggest thing I've learned with trying to show my daughter how to have a relationship with Jesus, how to worship him without taking it to those extreme levels, is just by my actions. Yes, I am blessed to be on the worship team at church, so she sees me worshiping from the stage, I sing and all of those things, but it's so important to me to show her how to worship at home, how to worship in the day-to-day, how to worship when life is hard, how to worship when her little brothers have pushed me to the brink of wanting to lose my mind, not losing my mind, wanting to, but being able to rein that back in and showing her that worshiping is so important to keep the peace. Worshiping is so important. When you have a relationship with Jesus, that's what you want to do. It's just like having a relationship with your husband. You want to do things for him because you love him. You have a relationship with him. And so that has been such a big thing in showing my daughter, I don't want you to be afraid of the consequences because you're a Christian, but I want you to have a relationship with Jesus so you don't want to do those things. You want to please him. You want to do what he's asked you to do. Religion is not the answer, only God. So, kids, you talk to them, and I'm not really sure how much they retain. I'll talk to my daughter, and she'll nod, and I'm thinking that she's getting it, and she doesn't. She has no idea what I'm saying. So sitting and telling her all these things, which it is important. It is important because we do know the power in words. And so even if she does not really look as though she's hearing, I know she is. There's just like in Sunday morning church when she's sitting with us and pastor's talking and, she's acting like she doesn't even know what's happening. But later that week, I'll say something and she'll respond, well, yeah, pastor said that. I'm like, whoa, like my mind is like blown. Like she heard it. And so words are important. But to these children today in this generation, they want to see. They want to see it. They want to see if there's action behind those words. They want to see, okay, you say this. Is God really going to show up? Does he really care about my heart? Does he really care about the desires of my heart? It's important because we are very much so a musical family in the fact, I'm not saying we all play like instruments like the Partridge Family, but we love music. We love to dance. We love to sing. Austin, not as much, but I do. I'm the one in the kitchen, like dancing and we're singing and Austin's just staring at us. And so my daughter loves music. She loves to listen to music. These, country singers that are out, which when I was younger, that was not okay to do because, yeah. And so trying to find the fine line of allowing her to listen to it, but also telling her, hey, when you fill your stuff up with all of this junk, it starts to spew out. So be cautious with the type of music you're listening to. Be cautious with the words that are in the songs that you're listening to, and know that there is power behind them. And so, I'll turn on the worship, these hype worship songs, the praise ones, and the boys and I will just be going for it, and she's just staring. But I know she hears it. I know because I'll see her little mouth move. It may not be as, big as me, but it's moving, which means it is taking place in her heart, and it's showing her. And so a huge, 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 huge thing when dealing with teenagers and God and being an example is they're sitting and watching your every move, how you react to situations. The biggest one is, trying to tell her, do not be a mean girl. Oh, I don't do that. I don't do that ugly mean girl drama stuff. And then another mom will do something, a situation, and she's just staring and watching me. Well, how are you going to respond? I'm and so there have been moments when, yes, I've just gone off and have to go back and tell her, listen to me, that was not okay. We have to love them. We have to be kind. That doesn't mean we have to hang out and be besties, but we have to watch what we say about them. We have to watch how we speak about them, and we can't go and just spew it all over the place. And so I do get caught in those times, but those are such vital moments of, well, are you doing what you're saying? It is such a powerful moment of, okay, you say you do this, you say to do this, and you say not to do this. And I watched you actually follow through with that. It's transforming in a teenager's life when you follow what you preach. Does that mean I do it all the time? No. But I understand the heaviness that comes with not doing what I say. If I tell her to do something and then I do the complete opposite, I've lost that moment with her. It was a moment that could have taken her to higher heights and deeper depths, but I gave into my flesh and I dropped the ball. And so showing her what worship looks like, showing her worship can be fun, showing her it doesn't have to be a super religious act, and we can do it in the kitchen while we're just all hanging out and waiting for dinner to cook, or we can do it in the living room when everybody's had a hard day and I'm over it. I'm over everybody being angry. Turn that music up and let's just have a dance party. She sees that. No, she may not react. She may not join in, but I know it's taking root in her heart. I know she's seeing it, and that is going to take her further than me sitting her down and saying, you know what, Jesus is very sad that you made the choice to listen to that song. Jesus is very sad that you chose to say those words about that girl. And Jesus probably is sad that she said that. I mean, let's be honest, he probably is. But when we prayerfully handle, we have to, they're such sensitive little balls of emotions. And so we have to say, okay, Holy Spirit, how is she going to receive this right now? Do I need to speak to her right now or not? No, let her lie. Let her be in her little thing, and then turn the music up and let her hear it from her room. It doesn't have to be a big production. All it is just living your day to day, following with what you say. So I have a little testimony. When we moved back to San Angelo, we didn't have a house. I was pregnant with triplets, and we went through this journey, and I would tell Peyton, I would pray with her and say, hey, I believe God's going to give us a house. I believe he is. I'm standing firm on it. I believe he's going to give us a house. He asked us to get pregnant again. We honored him. We got pregnant. He gave us triplets. I believe he's going to give us a house, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be perfect for us. And she would just shake her head and smile. But she was only 8 at the time, so she was still innocent and cute. And so we continued with it. We continued. Well, it was a couple years, I guess. Yeah, we went from house to house, living in people's house, living with my parents. And I would tell her, it's okay. Like, it's okay. I know you don't have your own room right now, but it's okay. God is going to open the door. I know it. I know it. And, she'd ask me, well, how do you know? Like, because we were obedient, and in our obedience, God will bless us. And I truly feel in my heart somebody's going to give us a house. And so she just smiled and say, okay. So one Saturday, my aunt and uncle went to a estate sale at a place. They called us and they're like, hey, this place is for sale. It's not on the market yet. I was like, wow, okay, we're going to go to the estate sale. So Peyton, my mom, and I went to this estate sale. I'm like, this place is amazing. Like, it's beautiful. It'd be perfect for horses. It was like 36 acres. It had enough rooms for everybody. And I was like, this would be amazing. And I always gauge, like I've told her, you're going to feel peace. If this is God, you're going to feel that peace. And I'm like, what do you feel? And she's like, this is it. This is it. I'm like, okay, well, it's definitely out of our price range. But I believe God's going to do something big. And Austin's boss said, well, I'm going to buy this house for y'all to live in. So in that moment, yes, it took years for that to come to fruition. But I was able to sit and have the conversation and tell her, do you remember what I have been proclaiming? What I have said God's going to do? And she's like, yes, yeah. I said, and look, God did it. Who else could have done this? She's like, only God. Like, that's right. So in those moments of maybe I'm frustrated with her, maybe I'm thinking, do you even know who Jesus is right now? I come back to this moment and I look at her and I say, do you remember when God gave us this place? And she'll shake her head. And I'll say, who else could have done that? And she'll just say, nobody, only God. And so each time something happens that we're believing, we're praying, we're speaking, even if it's small things. I mean, there's been issues with my car and I'm like, Lord, do something. I believe you're going to, move in this, and all of a sudden it'll be fixed. I'll look at her and I'll say, hey, you remember when this was going wrong? And she'll nod her head and I'll say, well, who else could have done that? She'll say, only God. And so I come back to the point of we don't have to sit and lecture our kids, our teenagers, and pour Jesus down their throat in order for them to have a relationship with Jesus. We give them the foundation. We show them through our actions, and then we love them because that's what Jesus does to us. He doesn't shove it down our throats saying, you're not doing what you're supposed to, but instead, he shows us, he loves us, and he's there for us. So yes, we live in challenging times, especially with social media and teenagers and them thinking that they need to look a certain way or listen to certain things or do certain things. And it's so romanticized nowadays. And it can be challenging. But worshiping in front of your kids is one of the most important and I believe vital things you can do to help them to have a relationship with Jesus instead of scaring them by telling them they're going straight to hell if they do something wrong. Thank you for joining me. I hope it sat with your spirit like it sat with mine. And I will be praying for you and your teenagers just as I hope you pray for me and mine. Have a great rest of your day.